Okay, we're starting on the floor today because this is big stuff. We've got here another VCR to look at. It's a national, proper national stuff. A video cassette recorder NV-8500. I've got a service manual for it as well. So it's part of a... okay, I've got part of a service manual for it. Don't have the first bit. It's a pretty old video editing system, or part of a video editing system. Pretty sure this thing here has got flying erase head, so you can use for proper insert editing. And I've got with it, it's an editing controller, which you would connect between a player machine and a recorder. Oh, actually, this is supposed to go on the other side, isn't it? And this additional remote controller thing, which you then link to another player, and then use this cable here to link it up to this. You can add another player into the editing system, so you can have two, maybe even more sources. And then you use another unit, which I have got, but it was buried in a big pile of stuff, which is a multi-source selector, which you plug the on-line out plug into, and it chooses which VCR is playing and feeds its output into the recorder. We'll try to get this thing on the bench so that we can take it apart and look at it a bit better. And I guess we'll have a look in these editing controllers as well. The knobs turned to mush. So when I first got this thing, it was in really good working order. It worked fine, but years of just sitting around, it's gone bad. Yeah, the only problem was that switch was broken. Let's explore the front panel. We got the power switch, an actual power switch, tracking control, audio level controls with a limiter option, the input selection, dub connector, line, composite input, or the TV connector. Have a look at that on the back, it's an interesting thing. Audio monitoring selection, the video level, automatic or manual, and got the tape controls, usual stuff here, play, rewind, stop, fast forward, all that good stuff. And then you get a search option, which allows you to use this knob to control it. A shuttle control, no jogging on this. And then there's some editing specific controls, assembly or insert editing, and you cut in and out. I think they'll be making use of the flying erase head. And then on the top row, we've got some gauges, meters, audio level, video level, something else level. Guess it says on them usually. Oh, tracking level, video level, audio level. Some indicators, what you're inserting when using insert editing, tape counter, certain segment displays, and then some options for what the counter's doing. Now we'll have a look at the back of it. A rating plate's missing for some reason. The controller select 1 or 2. Not really sure what that does. We're using audio channel 2 as timecode or audio. Edit auto stop, auto backspace. Then inputs, audio, video, sync input, the dub, which is like a S-video type thing. Timecode in and out, audio monitor, RF out, so you can use a time-based corrector. I think is that what you'd use that for? I think so. So it can monitor for dropouts on the signal coming off the video head, and in that case it repeats the line. It's like the dropout compensator. Audio and video output, a voltage selector on it, so a multi-tap transformer, IEC connector for the AC power input, and look at that, a TV connector, which is a thing that has video and audio ins and outs. And I think I found, when I was rummaging around for stuff, a cable that plugs into it. No, I didn't. I found something that used the same shell size, but it's a different type of thing. I have no idea what this is for, because the other end of it is some kind of like sparsely populated like D37 or something. So I'm not really sure what that's for. What I was trying to find was the cable that goes from between these smaller connectors on the editing controls. I have no idea where that went, but I did find some of the regular cables. Yeah, I didn't point out that, yeah, there's the remote connector which goes plugged from there into the editing controller, and it's like parallel signal where there's separate wires for play, stop, rewind, all those things, and some kind of data for the counters. Yes, I've got several cables, although there's a bunch more somewhere. I don't know where, which will have that smaller one, because this is standard parallel editing interface for national Panasonic machines, and I've got a bunch of them and various different editing controllers, and they all came with cables originally, and all these cables are gone really sticky. The insulation's degraded and they're very horrible to touch now, which is not good at all, because they were really nice quality cables. Now they're all falling apart. I think the ones that go with this machine are sealed up in a bag somewhere because they've gone so bad, which I think is why I couldn't find them. They're in a different area, segregated from the rest. Anyway, let's get this thing onto the bench and we'll try turning it on and see what it does. Maybe we should do that here. Alright, since we're already down here and plugged it in, power cable out the back, let's turn it on and see what happens. Yeah, that seems promising. One of the panel light bulbs is blown. Eject, top loading. Put in one of our tapes and see what happens. Or maybe we should take the covers off first. Let's do that. We want to see what's going on, don't we? We'll just take the top covers off, have a little look in there, and then we can see what happens when or if it enters play mode. Sounds like there's a fan somewhere. Yeah, look at that. It's got all the good stuff. There is a fan there running, and various boards. There's a metal cover over some of it there. Oh yeah, that can be unscrewed and released. Red screws, of course. I'm expecting a lot of the capacitors have gone bad in this thing. I know it worked fine when I got it, but that was quite some years ago. And from memory, the more recent time that I've tried it, it has not worked. At least this one's got, you can see there, infrared light for the tape end sensing, which is much better than the older ones where they used an actual light bulb and that would blow. You can see there the slip ring contacts on coming out the top of the video head. That's used for the flying erase head to power that up. Alright, let's stick in a tape and see what happens. Eject. Good quality tape that we've been using for things. Yeah, look at that. Half loads. Let's see. Into play mode. Not quite. No, see, it's gone into auto off mode, so something went wrong. Presumably there's a, so you've got to power cycle it. Presumably there's a belt slipping, the loading motor belt, presumably off that, which will be what's upsetting it at the moment. So it's gone back to auto off. Probably that's trying to run at the moment. In that case, let's take the bottom off and see if we can access some belts and things under there and see what condition they're in. Okay, we've got screws off on the bottom, so we're ready to take that off. And look at that, boards in there. But I did realize while doing this that we forgot to look at the stuff that's on the front edge. We've got headphones, jack with volume, mic, left and right, stereo microphones input, Dolby noise reduction, whether that's on or off, audio playback level, trimmer adjustments, sync, whether it's external, internal, or normal, presumably, like it will determine it itself, frames, servo, and video mode, auto, color. Okay, so in this thing, there are some more red screws. Let's take those off and see what happens. I think this whole bottom section should fold down. It's going to come down by itself, is it? No. Whoa, look at that. Let's get this board. Looks like some kind of video processing on this edge here. Comb filters, lots of shielded cables, and maybe a servo board or yeah, that's servos. It's got the motor driver there. Something might tell us somewhere what this is. So that says power color board. That one. Is this lower one? Not sure. It's definitely something to do with servo. But yeah, it's probably like Technics branded motor driver there. And it's probably the capstan and the video head servos. And now I think there's another tray that folds down that's got this stuff on it. This looks like system control type stuff. There's a ROM, some kind of CPU and IO type chips there. It's an 8255. That's one of those 3 8-bit port expander things, isn't it? It says 8039. Is that some kind of microcontroller? There's a ROM right there. There's an oscillator. Surely some kind of microcontroller. System control. Good stuff. You can see it's got 2 motors there, which will be take up and supply reel motors. Direct drive, so you can get the good shuttle forward and back and good control. Okay, let's open this next layer. Just fold down. Yes, look at that. Look at that massive wiring loom in there. And now, I think that will likely be what the problem is. That belt is slipping, or this one is slipping. It doesn't feel very good. It's a bit kind of dried out. Okay, and perhaps I'll have a go at cleaning that a bit, at least so we can see if this thing will get into play mode. I'll clean up the belt and we'll try it out again, and then perhaps we'll take it apart a bit further. There's some kind of block thing in there. Maybe there's a switch mode power supply. Was it some kind of transformer that's potted? We'll investigate that. And there's also more boards down the side, probably more up the top as well. Given the belts a good cleaning, and they seem to be a bit grippier now, especially that one to that motor. The one up to this pulley, it's not as good, but we'll see if that's helped at all. Did notice that the writing on this board here, there's real servo in that area. System control and the rest, so I guess that stuff there is what's controlling these 2 motors for the reels. Okay, we'll just kind of hold this up, bring it back down and test it out. I guess not. Well, that's a shame. Okay, perhaps we should try putting it up on its side, so that we can have the boards open while we turn it on and then see what's going on. The mechanism seems really jammed. It does not want to move in the direction that the motor's trying to turn it. That's weird. Yeah, may have lost the tape then. Yeah, it is super jammed up. Maybe something's busted on it or something's shifted. Or maybe the mode switch is ruined so it doesn't actually know what it's doing. Guess that's also possible, isn't it? Yeah, it's just trying to drive itself into the wrong position. Okay, so there's multiple issues here. Just been poking around with it for a while to try and see what's going on. And yeah, there's a few things going on. One of the things I've noticed is in here, the shaft that the pinch roller is attached to is completely seized, so that's not going to work. Even if it's trying to pull the pinch roller in, it's not going to be able to release it again. That's gone stiff. And yeah, I'm guessing the mode switch or something like that is upset, and that's why it can't tell that it's in the position to go into play mode. See, it's threaded the tape up fully, hasn't gone to pull in the pinch roller, which is done by the solenoid here, probably because it can't tell that it's threaded to the end yet. So yeah, I'm not really that keen on trying to debug all that. Let's just take it apart more and have a look at the other bits and pieces that it's got hiding inside it. So can unthread it manually by twirling this wheel around all the way till it gets to the unthreaded position. Yeah, and then the cassette door opens. Alright, let's get this thing on the bench and then we can investigate it a bit easier. Alright, here we go. So this thing is a bit big. According to the manual it weighs 21 kilograms, so that might be why it's a bit difficult to handle. So the red screws here for removing the cassette loading mechanism. We'll take the sides off, take a look in this power supply area, and then look at whatever other boards are down the sides here on the other side, and what's under that front panel. I think that in theory that just comes out. Maybe it needs to be in the loaded position. Oh, there you go. So it allows you to fiddle around with this. So yeah, it's got Hall effect sensors on the reels. Proper sensing for that. It's nice. See what this board at the back is. Wondering if that might be the head amp part. Oh yeah, look at that. It says head amp right on there. Guessing the mechanism is quite similar to what's in those other really old machines we looked in, but with upgraded to have the reels directly driven. I don't know, are they directly driven? Or are they just close to directly driven? Maybe there are some gears. I'm not sure, it doesn't feel like there are. We'll have to investigate that. Okay, head amp. Ah, yeah, look at that. So those wires come out of the back of the head there. Shielded section, and then there's a bunch of other cables coming off of there. Some little terminal block things, whatever that is, distribution to different looms, audio off the audio head there. Guess it's a stereo analog audio head. In addition to it having the hi-fi audio heads on here, so it's all going on this video head, flying erase and the hi-fi audio. It's got the erase head on both sides, and then the normal video, and then the offset ones for the audio. Okay, what happens if we take the sides off? It's supported by that currently. Is there more to it than that? There is more to it than that. There's another screw down the bottom. Okay, it doesn't reveal too much. There's a massive heatsink covering that. Yeah, but there's still that block thing. I'm guessing that is a transformer. We have to get in there and get that out to look at it. Okay, on this side we've got various boards. I think it's possible to get them out independently, maybe? Let's see what happens. Some kind of removable shielding here. Will that come out? Not really. Okay, we're going to take this outer one off first. So what is the outer one? It's called D51 video circuit. I think that's what it says. DSI D51, not sure. Okay, look at that. Oh, that hinges down. Alright, so that's more of the video circuit. And this one here seems to be on tracks, but I'll scratch my finger. But it's blocked by this massive bunch of cables that's in there. Look at this. This one's folded down, and then there's a huge bunch of cables which stops this one from folding up. You see on that side there is a track thing that it rides in, but maybe it'll just come out. Don't know. Can't we just fold it down? Guess so. There you go. So what was this one called? Oh, audio circuit. Yeah, so those cables there come off the audio head. Guess there must be one for FM audio somewhere. Unless that is part of this. Although, I don't know, it would be if this goes into there. It does sort of look like it. Those yellow and red wires shielded, which is there, and those that blue and light blue one There are ones in that bunch, but whether they're the same wires, who knows. Okay, there's some red screws over here. Let's have a look at that. And there's a bunch on the front. I don't know if that's all it's going to take the front panel off. The front panel is very big and chunky, so it probably hides more boards and things. Does that let that come out? No, it's all wired in. There's all kinds of stuff going on in there. I think that's... yeah, it comes out a little bit. This is a 100 volt AC fan. That's interesting. So I guess it's just wired across the 100 volt tap of the transformer. So depending on what you select, like it's just an auto transformer. So depending on what you have the voltage set to, it just takes a 100 volt tap. Interesting. And this has its own special winding. Could do. There's a sign of that this is a quality piece of equipment that's made properly with a lot of care and attention. You also see there's a date there, 3/9/28. I have to look up what that means in Western dates, not Japan dates. So yes, a sign of a quality product. Look at that. So it's made in Japan on it, and it's got a part number on it, stamped in. Nice. That's the same on all of the pieces of metalwork. They all have part numbers, so they're easy to identify. And they're all manufactured to very high standards. All the bends and folds and holes and things all nicely done. Okay, undoing some screws. That lifts up now, but it's still held down by some stuff on the front edge. I'm not sure what's holding that on. It's definitely held by something. I undid one screw that was in the center. It didn't help. There's a bunch of other ones on the wall, right on the bottom edge. We'll try undoing those and see what happens. Very interesting because it's out of frame. It still has not helped. I don't know what else I can do there. So weird. There's like a chin spoiler thing that comes off. Okay, once we get that off, it will probably reveal some more stuff. Okay, so this thing's come off the bottom edge, and now that should hopefully reveal. Oh yes, it reveals some red screws. That's probably what we're looking for. Whoa, all the good stuff that you can't see though. There we go. The control panel thing is off. It's only attached by wires, and there's pretty much nothing under it. It's just boards on the back of the switches, and that's it. Big heavy thing. But in the front there is a bunch of stuff. It's the audio amp circuit, and then there's another thing which seems to be unnamed, which looks like a whole bunch of logic chips. Looks like a whole bunch of 4000 series logic chips, the good stuff from back in the day. So we haven't yet found the FM audio. I guess it's just part of the other audio board, not labeled as such. No TV tuner or timer or any of that stuff in this. Professional machine doesn't have any of that stuff. It's just a VCR. But with good editing capabilities, you can see there's no back tension band on this because it's got a direct drive reel. Supply reel is directly driven from the motor, and the arm there that senses the tension just puts a thing between an opto interrupter, multiple stages. It looks like there's two of them there, and then that will control the torque applied to the motor, which will then limit the release of tape from the supply reel. One more screw. The framing circuit. Okay, so that's to do with getting the alignment of the tape sorted out, I think. Framing. Like to synchronize up the machines. Man, that's some kind of audio amplifier. I guess it's just a few op amps there, and then a whole bunch of signal routing. Yeah, it looks like 4 op amps, some transistors, also some transformers there. It's probably like matching transformers. I don't know what that goes to. Maybe it's from the headphone amplifier. Could be. It does look like that wire there is the one that goes down to the headphone connector, so that your headphones are isolated. Yeah, it is isolated headphone output. and some kind of little driver circuit for it. Interesting. Okay, next let's have a go in this power supply area. See what's happening over there. Not sure how we can get this stuff out. I think that block thing is just a transformer. Well, there's got to be a transformer somewhere. Either that or, well, it's not a potted switch mode because it's got a voltage selector on the back, and you wouldn't really need that if it was a switch mode. It wouldn't need to be as granular as that voltage selector is. Having quite a granular voltage selector suggests that it's got a linear regulators on it, so you want to keep the pass transistors dissipating as less as possible. Little heatsink board for some transistors. Holds a fuse for the fan, 100 volt AC fan, but also it looks like the circuit's there but not populated for an hour meter. They call it TM3 there. It looks like one of those fuse-shaped hour meters could go there. You see, it's even got a signal wiring to it with that wire. Pretty interesting. Ah, okay, so there's a cable tie wrapping things are riveted into the chassis there. Not easily removed, and that's what's been holding all the cables. And there's 2 cable ties. 3. Okay, so we've got quite a big aluminum plate there with a bunch of regulators, even this nice can style. Pretty exciting. And then there's this power supply board, which looks like it's got 2 rectifiers on it. Oh no, there will be the AC input filter, and then rectifier there, rectifiers there, and then the start of various regulators and things. This is the thing we came to see. Guessing this is one of those O-core transformers but potted into a box. Maybe not. It looks like it's a normal EI core. Wow, look at that. But it's in a box. And it has got a specific winding for the fan. So it's not just using... So that there is the input primary windings coming off the voltage selector switch that's on the back just there. And then it's just 2 secondaries that actually go to power the machine, and another secondary that is used to run that 100 volt fan. A weird design. I wonder why they didn't just use the primary side 100 volt winding. Maybe there's some safety thing to do with that, safety isolation type reason. Who knows? No rating information on it. So I'm guessing that's all the phases, and then this is the neutral, or the end of the winding, which goes to there. Whereas the other side will be from there through the voltage selector switch. And what we're going to do is our final trick. Let's see if we can get this mechanism out so that we can have a bit of a look at it. It might take a bit of fiddling around to get to that. Let's see. Yeah, this machine's going to get scrapped, unfortunately. Are those all ground wires? Yeah, they all go to the same thing. And then I guess that's all one voltage rail going to various areas, all red. Few things along the way. There's the counter display. They're actually socketed, I think. Just noticed that. Are these things in sockets? Or they just got spaces? No, they're socketed. Socketed 7-segment displays. Wow, look at that, just in a standard IC socket. No, are they expecting that to burn out? Weird. And you see the light bulbs for the panel meters there. This white stuff would have been rubbery, and you would have been able to pull the bulb out with... Yeah, it's not that bad. Which one of them was blown. So, yeah, you gotta... Oops, rip to the wire off there, but yeah, desolder that. Put in a new bulb. Light bulbs. So the shuttle control. It uses LEDs and must have light receivers, as I saw them lit up when it was powered up. You take a look in there. That spins on the other side, that's annoying. Okay, it's bolts, not screws, because there's no like cross on the head. This thing must have multiple layers to it. Oops. Okay, well it's apart now. Oh, is it pretty basic? Wow, that's interesting, isn't it? So there's just a bunch of LEDs and then some light receivers on the other side. And you can see as it turns, it just covers and uncovers different ones. You see that one there, it's uncovered for all that region. And that one there pulses. So that's showing the direction, because that gets covered. When neither of those are covered, it's in the center position. And then when either of them is covered, it's one or the other ways. And then those two there, I think it's just some binary thing. So they're both on. Now that one and that one. Now none of them. That one and that one. None of them. It's just can work out where it is based on where it's been, and knowing that it can't skip any steps along the way because it's a linear actuated thing. Alright, still haven't quite worked out how we get this mechanism out. I see some pretty heavy duty screws somewhere. I don't know if they come in from the bottom. Let's find out. No, it's screwed in from the top, except at the back. At the back, it's something there. In the front, it seems to be these ones. Or maybe it's that. Yeah, that's the guy, isn't it? And this one, although that just needs to be pushed over, like into the loaded position. Or does it? I don't know. Not really sure how you get that out of the way. It's like the speed reducer thing for the eject. This thing here. So that's got inside it planetary gears that speeds up a flywheel at the top, which has rods that fly out and grind against the inside of this barrel. That's how the soft eject works. That is in the way. How do you get that out of the way? What does it hit against? Don't know. So there's a stop somewhere that it's up there. That's weird. It blocks the screw hole, access to the screws. Maybe you have to undo that. Okay, now that can come off. Then we can get to this. Now that can come out. Why do we want to take that out? So we can see if the reels are direct drive or not. But it means there's heaps of wires and stuff we're going to have to undo as well. Well, not necessarily undo, but just get them out of the way so they're not holding it in place. Disconnect. Oh, still some wires connected. Where do they go? Just disappear into a loom somewhere? They go in two different directions. That's not going to come out without a huge amount of fiddling around. That's unfortunate. Weird that there's no plugs there. Anyway, we can still have a look at this mechanism. You see on the front, two solenoids control brakes on the reels, and it does look like that they're directly driven by those motors, which have 3 volts DC written on them. 3 volt motors. Capstan motor there. Don't know why the mechanism was jamming. Presumably the mode switch there was unhappy about something. We'll keep this mechanism, and when we're looking at some other older machines, which I guess is only going to be the portable ones now, because that's all I got left in the national Panasonic range. I think is some portable machines. Then we can compare this. It seems to be a variant of one of those old types. You can see there that shaft is gone stiff. That will have to be pulled out and re-lubricated. I think that one is not very good either. Happens a bit with these machines, either that one or this, or both, as in this case. Go a bit stiff, the grease is all dried out. Okay. Well, there you go. Look at that. Full exploration. Hey, wait a minute though. We're gonna have to look inside the editing controller to see what's in there. We're not done yet. We've got the editing controller. We'll take a look inside that, but I don't think it's going to be particularly interesting. And yeah, I guess the knobs fall off. Because in this it's just going to be a circuit board and a whole bunch of buttons. This is an NV-8500. I wonder if this would have socketed 7-segment displays as well. Oh, look at that, there's layers of stuff in here. Wow. Okay, so it's the same type of encoder thing for the shuttle controls. So this board is attached by these plastic clips. But look, they're all bent over. Does that mean they accidentally didn't line up the mounting holes? Just come off easily? Wow, look at all that. Oh, it's discrete wired onto the edit connectors from the back. All wired off with really nice soft flexible wires. That's really good quality stuff, isn't it? And each one goes to transistors by the look of it. Like rows of transistors there. They must buffer all of the signals. And there's another one of those D8039 CPUs, ROMs, and various other chips there. Not sure about the displays on this. I'm not really interested in undoing that many screws right now to find out. Yeah, what do the switches do? Oh, what channel it is. Okay. And look at that, angled connectors that will be quite difficult to connect because the wires have gone through a slot. And there's an insulating sheet there. Some kind of switch mode power supply. So it looks like it's very independent. The two halves that control each, the player and the recorder. And guessing in that player only, that additional player controller would just be this again. Probably just running some slightly different software on it. So I'm guessing between these two units will just be some kind of trigger command which says, yeah, I'm ready to go now. Probably just a couple of tracks joining them. Yeah, some kind of switch mode power supply there with a HA17524P controller. I wonder what that would be for driving. Something that needs a bit of voltage. Maybe it's a regulator for all the 5-volt stuff. So it's a bit more efficient than using a linear regulator, since this thing seems to be rated at 12 volts according to the rating on the back panel. Probably makes sense. There'll be a bit of voltage drop in the really long cables. Great, so hopefully that was interesting. A look inside this national NV-8500 editing video recorder. Might be a bit on its last legs now. We'll see you next time for a look inside some other interesting things.